Really nice to be back here at the Real Review. It's been a while. We're here to talk about a brand new series. A brand new series that's kind of an expansion on an old series, one that has been around in film format for more than 30 years. The Evil Dead series, that is. And we're here to talk about Ash vs. Evil Dead. Some general thoughts about the series in general, as well as impressions of the first episode, which was entitled El Jefe. Now, if you ever wondered what happened to Ash Williams after the events of Army of Darkness, then this series is 100% for you, because we do not go back to that time. We instead fast forward 30 years to where Ash is right now sort of a weird, like, war hero type individual, where he's really full of himself, but he's also somebody that would kind of go to bat for you if he actually gave a shit. It seems, though, that at this stage of the game, he's more concerned about getting pussy and getting drunk than anything else, considering in one of the opening scenes, where we first noticed that the Deadites have returned, he has gone down to a local bar to pick up a chick whenever the place is about to close in 10 minutes. So, in 10 minutes, he's able to close the deal with a story about his now wooden hand, and he's now in the women's restroom going to town on her, where her head spins around and the Deadite form of this chick shows up, and it's kind of like that first indication that something isn't right, but at the same time, it could potentially all be in his mind. So, based around all of this, we then learn what has caused the evil to come back. It's a very, very quick reveal, principally because we learn that Ash is still kind of an idiot. The evil is back because he was getting high with another girl and wanted to read her poetry. But he doesn't have any books on poetry, because what man does? But he does have something better! The Necronomicon. Yeah, reads from that, evil is returned. It's kind of a callback joke to Army of Darkness, where he doesn't quite say the words right, and he thinks that's good enough, when of course it really, in reality, is not. He just reads from the book one darn time, and he's pissed at the fact that it has brought the evil back. It has caused the evil to find him. So we meet a couple of other different characters during this opening episode as well. Amanda Fisher, who is a member of the local police force. Her partner is killed as they investigate a mysterious happening at a house that involves an individual that turns into a Deadite and then kills her partner, whose name is aptly John Carson. Johnny Carson jokes? Nice. John then turns into a Deadite himself, and Amanda is forced to kill him and doesn't quite believe what happened. You could see her later in the episode kind of questioning what her eyes saw, but was able to find some proof that it was real and that something is really happening here that's really messed up. We also meet a couple of co-workers of Ash who is now working at Value Save or some garbage like that, which I'm sure is just what S-Mart used to be, but then they merged with some other company and this and that happened and it morphed into this gigantic bullshit. The tags look strangely familiar, like Walmart's, so this is, I guess, the Walmart of the Evil Dead universe, so to speak. I don't know, but yeah, we're not going to see a lot of this place. But we meet Pablo, who is sort of Ash's second in command right now as far as friends are concerned. They really enjoy watching wrestling at night, and aside from that, he's really the only person that believes in Ash, and he has this belief in Ash even though he has no idea what happened to him and what happened 30 years prior to that. It just sort of formed a kin at work, you know, a bond at work that has sort of been a you scratch my back and I'll be your friend, considering it's not really been revealed what Ash has really done for Pablo. But then we also meet Kelly, who is a friend of Pablo's that Ash immediately takes a shine to, considering she's got 2 legs, 2 arms, is young, and has a vagina, but is quickly turned down. But this all becomes moot, considering shit starts to hit the fan. The evil quickly finds them at the store. Evil finds them as they go back to his trailer. And we have some pretty crafty and creative effects, albeit a bit unbelievable. So I'm going to stop with some of the plot spoilers here. If you're wondering about shotguns, if you're wondering about chainsaws, boomsticks, this or that, they're all present. That's the spoiler that I will grant. Now, as far as first impressions are concerned, I really enjoy where this series already is taking itself. It's one that's taking itself seriously and really approaching the horror genre as a lot of other films do, but also doesn't take itself very seriously. It stays very true to the overall value that the film franchise had, where it was not 100% serious. There were laughs that were in there based off of more than just jokes. It was also based around some of the unbelievable special effects. One of the later parts of this episode features Ash reaching out for the chainsaw to attach it to his to the hole in his bad hand, and he starts off thrusting forward, but whenever the shot actually occurs and ends, he somehow has gotten the chainsaw and is risen upward in momentum. That way he could stand up and then take out the Deadite. So little impossible things like this may really bug some people, but it actually, whenever you think about what this film series is all about, adds that charm that really has maintained itself ever since the first film was released, and was released on a very small budget for its time. The story seems that it's going to branch into a couple of different paths. We have the overall goal of trying to reach Kelly's father, who is experiencing some difficulty with a Deadite that is very, very personal to Kelly. And then there's also the idea of taking the Necronomicon down to a bookstore to help translate it and hopefully find a way to stop the evil. So this is one that has some clear-cut goals in front of it, but it's really the journey that's going to be the truest part of the ride. I really like where they're going with this, and I think that if you're a fan of both the Evil Dead franchise or just horror in general, if you're familiar with it, you're going to feel right at home. The effects definitely grant a lot of update compared to what was done in the 70s and 80s, which was by itself fairly good for its time. And this is something that has become on par with horror movies, and in some ways it's very similar to what you'd see on The Walking Dead, although it's a very different style where The Walking Dead is focused on the zombies really losing parts and just kind of going for the full gross out factor, either that or the destructibility of the zombie. Ash vs. the Evil Dead focuses a little bit more on getting to the point of the dismemberment and showcasing what they can throughout the way. There is a great scene where one of the Deadites that Amanda interacted with got basically a shotgun blast right to the side of her face and ended up still living. That was a really, really cool looking effect. And it really adds a little bit more of a mystique to the Deadites that we're going to have to watch the consistency on, because they seem a lot more indestructible in this film, or should I say in this series, than they have in other films and in other parts of this franchise. So we'll have to see how that consistency continues. But overall, really love this. This was a lot of fun to watch. The episodes are meant to be about a half an hour long, so we're not going to be bogged down with an excessive plot dump. This is instead going to be a series that's going to be very focused on the action and very focused on the bloodshed, and basically watching Ash and his friends fight their way to hopefully ending the evil for good once again. Either that or making something happen that we don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be ridiculous. This is a series to check out. I highly recommend it. We'll be back next week. I should have mentioned that. We're going to be talking about each episode of this. So El Jefe was a solid one. We'll see what episode 2 looks like. This one was directed by Sam Raimi, who's of course responsible for the first film, first couple films really. So we'll see how some other directors handle this, because we do have a couple other directors that will be handling episode direction, and that's starting next week. So we'll examine that one a little bit more closely. What did you guys think about the series? What did you think about the premiere? Let me know in the comments. I'll talk to you later. Peace.